Are you considering a move to the Pacific Northwest? Today we're here to break down the difference between small town charm of Gig Harbor and big city living in Tacoma.
We are the Key to See team, and our goal is to educate you on moving to the South Puget Sound.
So today we took the short trip across the Tacoma Narrows Bridge from Gig Harbor, and we're coming to you from Tacoma at the Museum of Glass.
First of all, let's talk about the overall experience of living in the two different places. Gig Harbor is a much smaller town vibe with about 12,500 people in the city limits. We've got small shops, waterfront vibe, bigger homes, newer homes. It's a much newer community. It's based a lot around the Fisherman's Village. So again, small town vibe. Flip that over on the other side of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. We're in Tacoma. And that's going to be much more of a grid city style, older homes, much larger, about 222,000 people. We have 3 universities over here, so you definitely get a younger vibe of a culture. University of Washington, Tacoma, University of Puget Sound, and then there's also Tacoma Community College.
One of the biggest differences between Gig Harbor and Tacoma is the small town charm versus the big city life. Let's talk about small town charm first. Gig Harbor, with its small town charm, is primarily focused around its historic waterfront, community activities, recreational activities, and almost no nightlife. Everything shuts down around 10 o'clock and it becomes kind of a sleepy city after that. The 2 main districts in Gig Harbor are downtown and uptown, and outside of those 2 areas, everything is pretty much rural. In contrast, Tacoma is set up with your traditional grid system with urban areas all around it. In addition, the city shines through with event centers, the Tacoma Dome for concerts. There's all sorts of events held here, hotels, and the nightlife goes into the wee hours of the morning.
Next up, I'm going to talk to you about amenities, specifically shopping and restaurants. For shopping over in Gig Harbor, you're going to find the downtown corridor does not have any chain stores and shops. These are locally owned boutiques and art galleries, that kind of a thing. And then you go to the peripheral areas where you're going to find your larger box stores like Target and Home Depot. And then in Tacoma, you're just going to find a bigger mix of those large chain stores amidst shopping malls and strip malls. And then downtown has a really wonderful flair with antique shopping and very cool vintage stores. So while restaurants do tend to close earlier in the harbor, one thing that the 2 cities share is this abundant amount of waterfront space, and as a benefit of that, you have waterfront dining. Tends to be a little smaller, a little quainter, and locally owned over in the harbor. You do have that in Tacoma, but it's mixed in with the larger, more commercial branded restaurants, the chains, so to speak. And then Tacoma also has a wonderful food truck scene, and probably more known for more ethnic cuisine options than in the harbor.
Next topic is walkability. As you can see in Tacoma, we're downtown, so there's a lot of places that you can walk to, whereas Gig Harbor is a little bit more driver friendly, with the downtown corridor being the only place that you can really walk around.
Next, let's talk about the difference between recreational activities in Gig Harbor and Tacoma. So if you think about it, they're pretty similar, but Tacoma just has a lot more options. So in Gig Harbor, it's focused around the historic waterfront. You've got boating, fishing, it's really small town vibe, water sports, kayaking, you've got Cushman Trail, you've got a lot of nature hikes, stuff like that. And then Tacoma, you have all the same options, but there's just more options, and it's just on a bigger scale. So you've got boat launches with multiple stalls, lots of access to the water, lots of fishing, lots of boating. You've got museums in both Gig Harbor and Tacoma. Of course, Tacoma has bigger options and more thorough experience overall.
As for commuting, Gig Harbor does have a public bus system, but you're going to find a more extensive public transportation system out of Tacoma. You'll have the Sounder, which heads north to Seattle, and obviously a more extensive bus route plan as well. Check out our video, Commuting in the South Sound, for more information on how to best commute from Tacoma and Gig Harbor.
Now let's talk cost of living. Here in Tacoma, being that it is much larger, there are more pockets of affordability. However, the property taxes are higher on this side of the bridge. Cost of living over in Gig Harbor, you do get more of a rural landscape, so bigger parcels, bigger properties, a little bit more waterfront. So the cost of living is higher, but surprisingly, property taxes are lower.
Since we're in real estate, let's talk about the different kinds of properties and homes in Gig Harbor versus Tacoma. So North Tacoma, you've kind of got your Victorian, you've got your post-war bungalow style homes, you've got craftsman, you've got your four-square homes, most of which are on a grid system. There's a lot of gently sloping property where you get some view properties.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of tucked-in neighborhoods with little tennis clubs and parks situated in between. Whereas Gig Harbor, you've got more waterfront access.
Definitely more waterfront properties in the harbor. Great views between both.
And then Gig Harbor also has a little bit more of like the organized neighborhoods, newer neighborhoods. But as they were mentioning, we are on a peninsula, so we have a lot more of the waterfront and water view style homes. But because we're in Washington State, both primarily, I would say, have craftsmen. Would you agree?
A lot of craftsmen.
A lot of craftsmen, yeah.
Seeing quite a bit more of the Pacific Northwest modern as well.
True, yep.
And to Jen's point, more subdivisions in Gig Harbor than you'd find in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And most of the waterfront in Tacoma is more commercial type stuff because you've got the railroad tracks surrounding the city and separating it from residential.
Right.
So you don't really get waterfront access buying a home in Tacoma. Whereas Gig Harbor, almost all the waterfront is residential.
Yeah. So that concludes our Gig Harbor versus Tacoma video. If you have more questions, please feel free to comment below. And as always, CJ.
Like and subscribe to our page.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time. See you next time, channel.
Shit.
Are you considering a move to the Pacific Northwest? I already forgot.
Line. And in Gig Harbor, they're going to be a little more tiny, intimate spots. I'm going to start that over. And intimate in Tacoma. They have both. I'm going to do it one more time. From what we have in Gig Harbor, there are a few here and there, but Tacoma certainly not.
Property taxes are lower. I think I just nailed that.
I kind of think so too.